Qui-Gon Jinn.
But this channel is all about resource-based filmmaking, so I'm going to orient a lot of our questions to that, which is,
Sure.
I think sometimes, especially my experience in like film school and early filmmakers, our first reaction sometimes is to go big. And, that's why I kind of groan every time I hear somebody tell me they're going to do a story about a hitman or something, and there's going to be guns and a shootout and all this sort of stuff. And what's really nice about Platonic and projects like these is it really has an organic kind of use of space. So as a resource-based filmmaker, you kind of have to make use of what you have and also exploit those resources so it looks like it's a lot more than it is, or taking advantage of the production value is something. Yeah. Okay. So, I was thinking there's a couple of things that you do here to kind of increase the production value that is very resource based. Number one, burning sage pot to kind of give us an idea of ambience and things that they're doing together. It's an intimate act. It doesn't cost you much more than sage and whatever receptacle you can get at a smoke shop, or there's always the classic apple, but just something like that to add this element of a prop. You also have this manuscript that's this prop that they get to move around, and then on top of that you have the geography of moving to the kitchen, to the living room, to the door, which makes that full circle of that area. I think we see 4 sides to that room.
Yeah.
Which gives us the sense of we're not just looking at like a little set and looking into it. We actually get the advantage of shooting on location and, all the different components around the room. And I think those little tiny things that you put in there really increase production value so much more than I'm assuming, is this like a no budget film?
Oh, it's the amount of money that we spent on that film is seen at the beginning when you see the pizza. That's the only money that we spent making this film. Everything about this was something that we have, and I'm glad you brought up especially the house thing, because when I see a location that I want to shoot in, it's not just the living room that you want to use. It's the kitchen, the bathroom. If you have a house, you have multiple locations
right
within your space. I knew I had 2 actors that I wanted to work with, Amanda and Dallas, because they had really great chemistry in something else that I had shot, and I wanted to sort of harness that. And so I used those 2, and I know Amanda was sort of down to let people shoot in her house, so it's her house.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend Mike had a brand new, I think it was the A7 II, that he wanted to test out his camera with, and so I was like,
Let's
I've
do
got a
something.
cameraman and a camera. Let's marry that to my script. And so everything was sort of just pick it up and let's use what we got. And then once we did there, we had to go in and maximize use of the space.
So if I was a burgeoning filmmaker here watching this video and I wanted to take my step to make something like a Platonic, what do you think is step 1?
I think step 1 is just sort of the Rodriguez way of filmmaking. Like, even in recognizing that you may have a concept, sort of, if you can bend it around the things that you have, actors that if you're writing, go to a person before you write it and say, hey, would you be interested if I wrote this part for you? Or there's something that I've been wanting to get off my chest, and explain the concept to them, and then write to their strengths if they're down for it. So just play to the things that you have, right? Especially in locations that you have on sort of access to. Writing to that in the script can make the script writing so much easier, because you know where you can necessarily go from one scene to the next
Mhm.
if you know the spaces that you have access to. It's much easier to do that than to say, right, like interior coffee shop, and then well, you got to find a coffee shop at that point. So as much as it may work for your story, why not just have two friends sitting in a kitchen over coffee? Because that's the most important, because you're going to be putting up lights, and you're going to need good sound. And so you're going to have to get a place that you can control, even down to turning off the air conditioner while you're shooting, so you don't get that hum in the background. Um,
Right, and a coffee shop's not gonna be able to give you any of that.
right.
And then you gotta fill it with extras as well.
Yeah, if you may be able to get the location and all of those things, but you probably won't be able to mess with the like internal things like uh, air conditioners or the refrigerator that is constantly humming in the background because it's got food that does needs to not go bad, and so you've got immediate problems, and you've got to, like you said, fill it with extras, and you're just creating problems for yourself. So work around those resources that you got, stretch them as far as you can.
Step one would be to find something concept-wise that can be shot in locations you already have secured or control over. So
Yeah,
even sitting there and going, okay, concept-wise, let's say I want to do a hitman story or something like that. Even big, it's like, well, it's not a hitman meeting someone at a coffee shop. It'd be a hitman meeting somebody at a house or apartment. It's
right.
realizing that you can use your situation and put it in a location that you have control over.
The other thing about the concept is you've got to pick something that means something to you. It's got to be something that you love, something that's going to sustain you through the writing part, and also coming up with places where you could shoot, and that sort of thing. So it's got to be something. I think that sort of put it on the bulleted list. I think that's sort of zero, where you've got to have something that's going to spark joy as a concept.
The Marie
Uh,
Kondo method mixed with
yeah,
Rodriguez. All right,
I
all
think
right, I like
that
it. That's very 2019. Good. I was executive producing a short film many a moon ago, and it was interesting because our director, he was a director producer, ended up getting a lot of people to come work for very very little, and it came down to him. I think a lot of people probably watching this are like, well, how do you get access to all these people? It came down to him contacting these people and saying, I'm a fan of your work. I like what you do. I'm working on this project. This project isn't a big budget at all. and but I would love for you to be a part of it, and I promise to finish it, and you can add it to your reel, and all this stuff. And it worked for a lot of our positions for the same reason you're saying, which is that passion and dedication. And sure enough, he did finish it, and it got into, I think, short of the week. And so suddenly everybody had something they look back on and said, look at the quality of work I do. And
right.
and so there are a lot of people who are willing to do that work again with him, because he's already kind of stood by his word of, I believe in this project, I'm going to do it.
Right. If you finish something, like 9 times out of 10, that's way more than most people get, because a lot of these things don't get finished. They end up on someone's shelf, and life gets in the way, and and then people, they be like, well, I don't want to work with that guy again. The last time I worked with him, it didn't
I
get
don't have
finished. It
anything.
didn't do anything. Right.
Yeah.
So getting it finished, and I've definitely been. Speaking of being a horrible human being, I've definitely been in that situation where folks I've asked you to work, and then certain things didn't happen. So I've definitely been the bad guy in that situation too. But
I've done it. I've done it as well. I'm not gonna let you just put yourself up there and self-flagellate. I'll join you on that. I've done it. There's a Jungle
yeah,
Cruise skipper I still owe a video to from my college days.
and yeah, that's one of the reasons. And I, like, in talking to the actors, I think they were wondering, like, is this going to be the release? And it was one of the reasons why I wanted to release this, not just because of the resource based aspect to it, or the Me Too aspect to it, but also because I want to put this out there, like, people volunteer their time and their talents to something that when I look back on it, it's not the best short film that I've ever done, but I will say that it is a short that I can go back and watch and see something in it every single time. And I'm definitely proud of it. I definitely wanted to put that out there as something that I'm proud of, and as a thank you to the folks, Mike and Amanda and Dallas. I want to personally thank them for lending them time for something that even though we shot it very quickly, it was shot in I think about 4 hours, and just put it together and set them up, knock them down, and it was sort of a really great marriage on set of people, and I think we all got along and we all had fun. But as a thank you to them and their efforts, that's one of the reasons why I decided to release the short and not just let it languish on my hard drive.
All right. Well, I feel like we've talked the internet's ear off. Well, as a filmmaking experience, as somebody who watches this and says, "Cool, I kind of see how to do this." What's your advice to somebody who's going to go make a short, no budget, pizza budget? Let's call it pizza budget film because that's what it is.
Films,
It's
yes.
a pizza budget film. And what's your words of advice to them? What would you say they should, if they're going to go do it this weekend? What should they do?
Don't spend any money. Get something that you're passionate about. Grab some friends. Grab your phone. Go out and shoot something and put it together. Find some free music. There's tons of free music out there. Music Bed has a 30-day free subscription if you want to try that out. There's artists like
it Soundstripe as well?
Soundstripe, yep. And there's
it's like a $10 subscription for a month. Yeah.
Right, and Pond 5 has the cheapest music around. Shout out to Pond 5. So like all the links to those things will be in the description below. So just don't spend any money. I'm sort of stealing that from Robert Rodriguez and his 10-minute film school. I will also put the link to that in the description below, where he says don't spend any money. Go out and do it. Just find something that you're passionate about. Grab some friends. Take your phone. Shoot it. And then, put it together. And it may not be the best thing that you've ever done or, something that is going to win all the awards at Sundance, but it will make you a better filmmaker. You're going to get something out of it. Go out there and use your creativity and shoot for the stars and see what you get. And then you'll be much better the next time, and you'll be much better the time after that. And you'll learn things. You'll learn things about composition, and you'll see things like, oh man, I really gave so-and-so too much headspace there. Oh man, I really wish we had used better sound here. Oh man, I really wish that I had done a close-up instead of like a medium shot in sort of this thing. And you'll learn not only these things, but you'll also learn what your style is as a filmmaker, what type of shots that you lean toward creatively, and what type of stories that you lean toward telling. Are you a horror person? Are you a drama person? Are you a comedy person? You'll learn all these things only by, making films. And so...
And always shoot as much B-roll as you can. My personal is B-roll is your friend. Yeah.
And so just... do it on a pizza budget. Go out and don't plan to spend a bunch of money. Don't let the idea of the fact that you don't have a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K or a Red camera or all of these things that we want as filmmakers and gear nerds, and just go out with your phone and make a thing. I'm literally going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to go out tomorrow with no money, and I'm just going to shoot on my phone. And I'm looking forward to it. I really want to, that's sort of been my goal for this year, is to practice iPhone cinematography. So I'm going to practice what I preach. I'm going out tomorrow. I'm not going to spend any money, and I'm going to shoot a bunch of stuff. And
I think this should be your challenge. Everybody who's watching this, try to do that project and post it here as a response.
Yeah, post if you get some cool stuff. post it on YouTube and post a link in the comments, and I will watch it. Anything that's super cool, I will feature on the show in future episodes. So everybody, go out and shoot something on your phone. Go do it. It's gonna be cool.
We signed so much homework. Yeah, this is great.
Let's start a movement. So, Kate Tuxford, I really thank you for helping me today, for doing a great job and interviewing me and
well, you're welcome.
My gut.
You're welcome. And, always happy to help out, and it's always good for me since I work from home, knowing that I have to be on camera. I have to actually brush my hair and put on pants.
Well, the pants thing is your own thing, because I can't see any.
You know what? Yeah. I'm really overcompensating, and I thought I'd just say it so you guys, to psych you guys out, and you're like,
yeah.
No, pants thing's real. Yeah.
Right.
Totally real. Yeah, well, you're very welcome, and I'm so happy that you're kind of putting this blog together. It's something that you and I've heard you talk about for so long, and the thing that you're really passionate about. So the fact that you're out there and you're gonna tell other people how it's done, and I'm probably gonna learn a thing or two from you. So I'm eager to keep watching as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much, and hopefully we'll get another one of these going on when I put another one up.
Okay, and also everybody, look out for my film, Miseducation of Bindu.
Yes.
I will give you the deets when we have our release date and make you shamelessly brag that you know me.
Oh yeah, totally. Executive produced by Mark and Jay Duplass. Yeah, absolutely.
Those are guys. Yeah. All right.
So thanks, Kay, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
All
right.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah, you love it, Qui-Gon Jinn.